Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Definitely appreciate you tuning in. So let's go ahead and jump right into the latest update. First news I just wanted to share with everybody. I think people know at this point that I've been playing Phantasy Star 3 for months now, just trying to beat it, having enough time to actually play through it, beat it. Because when I review games, I like to actually play them from beginning to end for the most part, especially when it's a narrative driven game. Some other games I feel like you probably can get away with a review just, if they're sort of, based on mechanics. Just sort of like repeating the mechanics, throughout levels, which you're kind of always doing in a game. But some games, when they have a story, a narrative built in, you have to treat it a little bit differently. So when there is a narrative-based game, I like to play it through to the end. And I only did one playthrough of PS3 because, there's, I forget how many endings there are. There's at least four. I think there's more than that, but there's at least four endings that you can get to with different characters. I don't know how different the endings actually are, but based on my review, probably not too much, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So that's it. Anyway, I finished actually playing the game, so now at this point, I'm actually just kind of cutting everything together. I'm going to be shooting the actual review this weekend, probably. So hopefully I'm going to have at least 2 videos for you guys next week, because I'm also kind of planning on doing a little video, just kind of like a short little video on the PVM monitor that I got. I got a 14-inch professional video monitor, hence PVM. It's a Sony Trinitron. The thing is I mean, well, the box itself, it's not a pretty thing. PVMs are never pretty. But the picture, my God, the picture is just absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to, I'm going to, try and capture it. It's going to be off screen. I'm going to do the best I can to capture it for you guys. But I'm actually thinking about shooting that in the 60 frames per second video. But my camera only does 720p at 60 frames a second. But I figure for capturing, footage off of a screen that's standard definition, hopefully that will suffice. So I'm still sort of juggling if I should do the 1080p at 30 or 720 at 60. So if you guys have an opinion, please let me know. So, make a comment down below if you would rather see, PVM off-screen footage in 720p 60 or 1080p 30, because that's all my camera can do at this time. So anyway, so just, not a whole lot in the news section that hasn't been talked about a million times already. So I kind of wanted to give a little bit of time to something that I thought was really cool that just happened. So there's an online forum, go figure, called arcade-projects.com. And there's a guy there, I assume it's a guy, I don't know, named Darksoft, who has actually developed in concept, I think is actually, getting close to actually finishing it and, putting it out into the world. He finished a flash cart for the Neo-Geo. And it's a flash cart that works on both the AES and the MVS systems. This is a big deal. This has never happened before on a Neo-Geo. So yeah, it's going to be a big deal. I guarantee you, anybody that has a Neo-Geo is looking at this thing like, holy crap, yes. So I kind of want to share some details with you guys. So I got to give props to Cauterize at Retro Collect for kind of summarizing some details about this thing. So I'm just going to kind of read it here. So the multi-cartridge runs from a combination of FGPA and DDR that allows space for up to 4 different games at any one time. It's yet to be confirmed if a built-in menu will let you choose between which game ROM to load, so we can only assume that it will either have dip switches or cycle between games upon each boot. Although offering both an AES and MVS version, the cartridge is supposedly 99% identical, other than making sure that each one works on its respective platform. So end quotes there from Cauterize's article. So very interesting. It's going to be like $400 when it releases, and that is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But when you're talking about the Neo-Geo, $400 is actually very, very reasonable. Especially when you look at other EverDrives in the market, like a Super Nintendo one. I think those are, almost like $200 or maybe even more once you get the whole package built in. I think this would just be $400 just for the board, with the flash memory. But either way, regardless of what it is, it's freaking awesome. It's so cool. I'm really pumped about it. I don't own a Neo-Geo, but for all my friends who actually own a Neo-Geo, this is awesome. It's huge news. So happy for them, and great job by Darksoft. Again, that's the guy from Arcade Projects who developed this whole thing. So good job by you. Awesome. I can't wait to try it out. Um, okay, so here's my next thing. Uh, right now, I'll tell you my setup. I want to do some, retro capture, obviously, for my channel. But the way I do it right now is that I think I've showed you guys my equipment. I have, basically my systems all have a RGB SCART Euro out. It goes to a Euro, it goes from a SCART to an HDMI adapter. Then it goes from my HDMI adapter into my capture card, and then my capture card outputs to this other monitor that I actually play on, so there's no lag. So on one screen I've got the, what's actually being captured, and on this screen I've got what's actually being passed through that I can play. Both are LCD monitors. I would ideally like to have my gameplay monitor be my PVM, which is sitting over here. I would like to find out if there's a capture card that can actually make that happen. So if you have any suggestions, let me know, because I've been kind of playing with, well, I went out to Radio Shack and, I was stupid and whatever. I tried to see if I could get the HDMI out to go to analog and then have that analog actually plug in to my PVM monitor, it's a 15 kilohertz monitor. I don't know what I was thinking. It was basically just a Hail Mary. It didn't work out. So if you have like an idea of a capture card, I'm doing my own research as well. But if you have any suggestions, that's my goal. If you can help me out, that would be awesome. So just, make a comment. It would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so now let's get to pickups. I got some pickups. I got some games. So finally, I didn't get a ton of games. Not a ton of games. But I finally got Doom. I can't remember if I shared this already. I feel like now that I'm doing this, I feel like I already shared this. But I got Doom. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, hence why I'm sharing it again. So if I didn't share it, hey, news, I got Doom. Big deal. All right, so now yesterday, I know I didn't share this because yesterday I finally found a good local deal on Craigslist for some Dreamcast games, which is like, that's like 3 things that just don't happen. A good deal from Craigslist and for the Dreamcast. Around here, it just doesn't happen. So I met up with this kid. This guy was so nice. I think he rode his bike. Like, he rode his bike for like 4 towns over, which is like far in Jersey. It's kind of crazy. But really, really nice kid. Kind of felt bad taking the games because I think he needed the money for like college or something, but he didn't like giving it up. I hear that. I wouldn't like it either. But hey, I got some really good games at an amazing deal. This guy gave me a really, really good deal. So first up, Grandia 2 for the Dreamcast. Haven't played this game. Been really, really wanting to play this game ever since it was announced, ever since it was being previewed in magazines and stuff like that. I never played Grandia 1 either, so eventually going to get around to this series. I just bumped the mic there. Sorry about that. Now this one I'm really, really pumped about. Power Stone 2. This is a really, really fun game. I got to play this at a couple of our AVGC booth setups. I never actually owned the game myself. I have part 1, but I never had 2, and it's a really, really fun game. Now, this game I did used to have, and this was always one of my favorite Dreamcast games. In fact, I bought controllers to, these controller adapters, and which, maybe I'll do an episode on those. Controller adapters for the Dreamcast so I can plug my Sega Saturn in, so I can play like Street Fighter and, booyah, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. No words really need to be said about this game. This is just freaking fantastic. It's pretty legendary at this point. So that's it for my pickups. I didn't get a whole lot of pickups. The last 3 months, I guess, before this, I spent a ton of money on games and stuff like that. So I'm trying to slow down a little bit, at least until a video game con here in September. That's coming. That's only like 2 weeks away now at this point. So that's definitely sort of taking over my life a little bit. So the week of September, I guess September 12th or whatever, September 11th and 12th, I might be just recovering from, working the con, so I might not have a video that week, but maybe I don't know, I'll figure it out. But, okay, now let's get on to the movie recommendation. So this one isn't, too underground or whatever. Like I said, I'm not always going to have like the most rare movie recommendations. But this one is on Netflix. You can go watch it right now. In fact, some of you may have already watched it. It's fantastic. It's called Elite Squad: Enemy Within. Actually, the title is pretty terrible. I remember seeing it in Netflix years ago and just being like, this does not look good. Like the cover art looked bad. The title just didn't read well to me. It was just like, eh. But then I was reading all these reviews about it, and I was like, okay, all right, let me give it a shot. I was feeling experimental. And man, it's one of those movies where I'm just so glad I watched it. It blew me away. Just like how raw and visceral it is. It's almost like if Scorsese had gone to Brazil to make, their Infernal Affairs remake. I can't think of the name right now. But obviously, Jose Padilla, it's his own style. And man, it's such a great movie. I can't even tell you. I know a lot of people were introduced to Jose Padilla through RoboCop. And I'll say, that movie, I don't know if that's a bad movie. It's just very average. It was definitely a letdown compared to, obviously, the original RoboCop. And it didn't have any of the, anyway, I don't want to get into critique of that movie. But, yeah, so I know a lot of people were introduced to him through that movie, but please don't let that put you off. This was him at his A game. And I don't know if he still has his A game, but maybe he does. But this was definitely a director in his prime making a kick-ass movie. So I highly recommend checking it out. If you have Netflix, just go there and watch it. It's great. It's 2 hours of your life that you will definitely enjoy. So that's it, guys. Until next time, I'll see you later.